welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and I've got a spicy brew from Patreon subscriber Pedro. This is a deck that's been titled 8 Beans, and the joke here is Up the Beanstalk is a 1 and a green engine that sits in play, a permanent if you will, that when you cast a certain type of spell you draw a card. Those words also describe Argothian Enchantress. 1 and a green permanent sits in play, and when you cast a certain type of spell you draw a card. Up the Beanstalk happens to trigger Argothian Enchantress. A bunch of the things that trigger Up the Beanstalk, like Leyline Binding, also trigger Argothian Enchantress. See what we're doing here? Basically, we have just taken a Enchantress deck and filled it full of fun control cards, or we've taken an Up the Beanstalk control deck and filled it full of an unusual representation of enchantments. However you'd like to think about it. Enchantress half full, Beans half empty. Optimism, pessimism. It's up to you to interpret this. But that's what's going on here. We basically just have a deck full of pretty good spells. Burrow, Supreme Verdict, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Force of Will, Shark Typhoon, Leyline Binding, Void the Aerlingus. All these are good. And then we just have twice as many draw engines as you'd expect us to have. And we crank through and try to win somehow. Hall of Heliod is in the deck for that late game Shark Typhoon action. Sarah's Sanctum is here as a potential huge burst of mana. Destiny Spinner, alternate win con. Target land becomes an XX elemental with trample and haste, where X is the number of enchantments you control. That's a great mana sink in the endgame. Maybe this is a beautiful marriage of two strategies that have a lot in common. Maybe this is a horrible Frankenstein of two things that shouldn't exist together. I don't know. The cards look pretty good, just laid out. There's not a card I'm embarrassed to play anywhere in here. Let's hope it lines up. This is 8 Beans Enchantress Control. I'm on the draw in round 1. My opponent is someone who I know likes to play lands in real life, but also I know that he shares his account with his partner. So I don't even know who I'm playing against, but I am going to keep this hand. I've got Abundant Growth off of a basic forest, basically the nut draw. And then we've got Beans, and we'll see what happens from there. Ponder. It's not lands, folks. Chose to shuffle. There are no ponders in my deck. Abundant Growth is the ponder in this deck, which is why we have to keep hands that include it. Forest, Abundant Growth, keep. Oh, now I have a choice. Which bean do I want to start with? That is actually kind of funny because Up the Beanstalk triggers Argothian Enchantress, but Up the Beanstalk also just triggers itself. I think Enchantress is the way to invest here. And my opponent might just go Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, and it doesn't matter what happens, but I think I get the most cards over the longest game if I play Enchantress first. Scalding Tarn, go from the opponent. More Enchantresses. I'm going to fetch, hope I don't get stifled. Basic Island coming in. Argothian Enchantress, number 1. The first test. The great thing is I don't even care if this gets dazed. I would love if it gets forced. Just him to Taraku in a spell that I have 3 copies of in my hand. It's in there. End step cycling Lorien revealed. Getting Tundra. If this is Show and Tell, it's a weird fringe version. They haven't really done anything that indicates they're actually Show and Tell. I'm just trying to think my way through situations where I could get suddenly obliterated. Because I'm actually set up extremely well. If this is actually a blue-white or Jeskai or Bant control deck, I love my hand. It's just a bunch of sticky things that draw cards. It's basically all I want to do in life. Unless they cast Narset, I can absolutely not beat a Narset in this environment. Okay, just pass the turn. I like that for me. I think it's time to play a Beanstalk. I know that getting the other Enchantress out would give me 3 draws when I play Up the Beanstalk instead of the 2, but I would really like to find a Force of Will or a Leyline Binding, something that can answer whatever eventually comes out of this deck, because I mean, they're playing cards. Haven't played in it yet, but they're in there. I drew another Abundant Growth, which is 2 more draws, and rounds out my colors. Unfortunately, this deck is both interested in colors and interested in domain. There are 2 different things happening here. And Abundant Growth doesn't turn it into all land types. It just gives the existing land the ability to tap for any color, which is different than Dryad of the Elysian Groove or Prismatic Omen. Though it ends up functionally similar as far as mana producing, but it's very different as far as domain. Leyline of the Guild Pact, another recent example of doing that effect. I've been informed that a real-life situation has come up, and my opponent has to leave the match. Unfortunate, because this was shaping up to be fun. But, I mean, we could see the pieces starting to come together. We don't know what's going to come out of these cards yet, and maybe we never will, but my hand is so set up to grind. This is incredible. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. Opponent in round 2 said hi chat. Everyone say hi to Sandcry. I'm going to keep my hand. It draws cards and kills a Delver. This is all I need out of a Legacy hand. A Cavern of Souls. Goblerinos. Okay. We can do that. Swords of Plowshare is good against goblins normally, as long as they don't have a Chalice of the Void. However, this is a pretty slow Swords to Plowshare's hand. There's 1 Supreme Verdict in my deck. Now we'll see how it shakes out. If they just dumpster clown me here, then I've been dumpster clowned. If not, I might be able to pick them apart here and there. Move forward. A Lotus Petal. Okay. I like when their resources are temporary. Rabble Master. This one is covered. And I am just going to fetch Tundra here. This is not a deck that main decks Wasteland or Blood Moon. And I would like to spin this into a Brainstorm, perhaps. Okay, so I could just stick the Beanstalk, take a random draw. Or I could Brainstorm and really try to get something going here. I think the Brainstorm is better. Alright, Leyline Binding's good. Someday. Put back Hall of Heliod and Basic Island. Alright, what duels are in the deck? I think there's a Taiga. There is a Taiga. The only swamp is in Dotha Triome. Yeah, I think I get Taiga here. That at least lets me cantrip again and gets me closer to Domain. I would like to upgrade the Taiga because the Tundra already makes colors I like. Sterling Grove. Just the speed I want in a Goblins matchup. I wish I had a moat in the sideboard. I didn't even think about it. Oh, Ancient Tomb Pass. So their hand must be just nutty bonkers over there. I could play Fable, or I could play a fetch land and leave up Leyline Binding. I could play up the Beanstalk, which sets up a better Leyline Binding next turn and gives me room to fetch my Dotha Triome. I think I would rather get Fable going. No main deck moat to tutor for with the Sterling Grove, unfortunately. Who's the Goblin deck now? Probably still you. Please don't Muxus me. Uh-oh. Well, that's Muxus mana. Here it comes. Alright, if we hit a low-impact Muxus and I find my Supreme Verdict, I can still win this game. Broadside Bombardiers is strong, but you'd have to sacrifice, like, a real permanent to pick off my Goblin Shaman, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I mean, that as far as Muxies go, that one wasn't that bad. Oh, just sending Muxus to the Dome. That makes me feel like they have another one. Okay, we get a Fable trigger. Sterling Grove way too slow here, and up the Beanstalk also way too slow here. None of those cards help that situation. Okay, green, colorless, Beanstalk. And I can fetch and Dotha tapped, or I could just pay 2 for the Leyline Binding. Yeah, I think I'd rather just pay 2 for it, because that saves me some damage. I feel like there's another Muxus in the hand, though. This hand was just so weird. It did something on 3, then nothing, and then 6-drop, 6-drop, fling the Muxus last turn. Yeah, this is just another one coming. Yep. As promised. There it is. Whiff, 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 whiff. Oh, that's so many goblins. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, here come a bunch more. Hit for all 4 off the first ringleader. Let's go. 7 cards in hand. Only hit 2 off that one. 9 cards in hand. Goblin Matrix Institute or whatever it wants now. 10 cards in hand. And just reloaded another Muxus. Gross. Okay, so in the beginning of combat, I'm going to Leyline Bind. Gotta take out Broadside Bombardier because that's just GG. And I probably block Battlecry Goblin, go to 3, and hope I draw Supreme Verdict. Or, sorry, go to 2. They still have Pack Tactics here. Okay, Supreme Verdict makes me work through this hand of 10 goblins. But I get to see another draw step. There's no real way to win this game. They discarded Matron, Namesticker, and Skirk Prospector. My Fable flips into a goblin. I've had several goblins this game. That must be embarrassing for my opponent. Show up with a goblin deck, and your control opponent also has goblins. But, I mean, super dead, but... Okay, Hydroblast and Blue Blast. I also like Wasteland here. Not a lot of sideboard for this deck. Starling Grove, super slow, and they're not going to be targeting my enchantments anyway. Force of Negation, not an important card here. I like Force of Will, because sometimes they don't have Cavern, and I do have one answer to Cavern in the list. Shark Typhoon is a nice combat object. 4th Aerolingus is a way to potentially cheese a combat out of them. I think Enchantress, actually... Well, is Enchantress worse than Up the Beanstalk? That's the real question. Based on the speed I think this game's going to be played, I think the immediate cantrip is worth a lot on Up the Beanstalk if I'm cutting one of these 2 drops. Alright, Enchantress. Sorry, you know I love you. I did have the brief thought to entertain the Helm Leyline combo that's in the sideboard. Normally, you want to bring in Helm in matchups where Leyline is just a good card anyway. But I'm thinking just for speed and cheese potential. And if the combo was better, or if this was an Enlightened Tutor deck, like if I could tutor and set it up better, I'd probably be more interested, but as it stands, kind of stinks. Okay, I mean, the Supreme Verdict's here. I'll keep. I have this Leyline Binding that's nowhere near castable. The sideboard Wasteland, clutch. I do occasionally appreciate how that time Wizards of the Coast told us Legacy is fine and Expressive Iteration doesn't need to be banned because Leyline Binding's in the format now. And we were like, what the hell are they talking about? That's not a Legacy playable card, and now it's all over the place. I wonder if they knew of the Beanstalk was coming when they wrote that article and they were just in the Future League sauce, or if they were just completely out of touch and got lucky. Either way, it's a funny story. And we're off. Abundantly Grow my Tropical Island. Well, that does help with Domain. A little. Unfortunately, Supreme Verdict is my only blue card in the hand, which means if I have to Emergency Force of Will, the Verdict is gone. I mean, the Cavern is nice, because I don't have to Emergency Force of Will, but it also means I might just die. I'm going to Wasteland this thing so fast. Get it out. Okay, Force of Will's back on. Though Supreme Verdict is still my only blue card. And if I get to drop out all these lands, the Leyline Binding is down to 2 at this point. No! Got me with the Mismatch Cavern, too. I wasted the nice Avacyn Restored one, and now I'm going to lose to this awful Modern Masters one. Chrome Mox. I've not yet reached the point in my career where I'm willing to Force a Will a Chrome Mox. Someday, I might have the read that that's correct, but today is not that day. Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, they backed it off. What's going on here? Oh, okay, they realized they could forever Spirit Guide under the Chrome Mox. Yeah, that's a better thing. Oh, but that's a Namesticker Goblin, so they're casting a 4-drop this turn? Okay. All in on Ringleader, hands empty at the moment, and they hit Battlecry Goblin and Muxus off of that. And haste is busted. I am under pressure here. Another Force of Will that is not going to help. I'll get Enchantress out because I'm likely going to have to Leyline Bind on my way up to Supreme Verdict. I'll at least get a card out of this. It can also block, in case that's a thing I end up wanting to do ever in life. I could also entertain a universe where I Leyline Bind a Chrome Mox to set up Supreme Verdict that's going to kill the creatures anyway. And mana is probably how I actually stabilize this game, if it's going to happen. Okay, I can now cast the Supreme Verdict with the mana that I have, which kind of makes me want to get rid of a Chrome Mox. I guess I'll see what they do this turn. It would be really hard to Mux this from here. They'd have to go Soul Land Spirit Guide. And because I know Enchantress is going to die anyway, I can Leyline Bind a Chrome Mox, Chump Block, and then mop everything up. Okay, Leyline Binding before combat. Drew Brainstorm. Going after Chrome Mox. Surprise. I'm going to end up taking 4 this combat because they do have Pack Tactics. I go to 12, then I Supreme Verdict. Oh, wow. Going after the Chrome Mox convinced them to pitch a Spirit Guide. Alright, so I'm going to take 5 this turn. But that's another mana source gone. They're just committing to winning with what they have, which is not going to work, and I know that. But they don't. Okay. Splat. Get him out. Hydroblast, Insane Draw. I have reached something resembling stability at 11 life. You have a 2-drop? Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I just F6 because of Cavern. Shit, that was so bad. That was the worst thing I've done in a long time on this channel. Yeah, I would have forced that so hard. You dumbass. Okay, well. Busy gloating. F6. Spewed off on probably a game-breaking card. Chrome Mox. Alright, we've reached the point in my career where I'm willing to force a Chrome Mox. Especially with Up the Beanstalk in play. Okay, I can cycle Lorien Revealed, lock up mana number 5, but what for? I could cycle Shark Typhoon and keep my blue count high anyway. Alright, Shark Typhoon, time to win this game. Turn it around for me. Go get him. 2-2 Shark, 2-2 Shark. Another Bean. Life is good. Sarah's Sanctum, you don't say. That lets me... Oh, wait, I need to tap differently. I need to tap the white. I need to leave up blue. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pedro, you might be onto something here. This is cool. I'll just draw 5. How's that sound? Attack for 2, and I'm going to discard one of the fetch lands here. And I guess these Abundant Growths are probably no good. Abundant Growth and a fetch land can go. I'm looking for a Leyline Binding to unlock this Chalice that never needed to be in play in the first place. Goblin Matron cannot be countered. Probably getting a name sticker. Try to unlock this Muxus, or they could just go Rabble Master, try to get low. I don't know. We'll see what's on their mind in a moment. Broadside Bombardiers. Yeah, that card's good too. Come on, deck. Indatha Triome does give me Domain. Okay, Savannah. Enchantress. I can cast Abundant Growth and draw a card. It just gets countered. Enchantress is a cast trigger. And cycle Indatha Triome. Oh, that's so many Force of Wills. And I'm gonna leave back my blocker. This Chalice is so free and embarrassing. Oh my god. If I had Hydroblast and Brainstorm available, this game would be just hard locked. And I mean, obviously, it was just a punt. But also, I see people lose focus and just make giant mistakes like this in paper all the time. It's not just an MTGO thing. I'm going to double block Bombardier. If they want to throw Matron or Chrome Mox at Shark Token, that's fine. If they just want to trade off with Enchantress, that's also fine. Oh, okay. They went face with that. Interesting. All right. All right. I'm actually pretty happy with that exchange. I was way more scared of Broadside Bombardiers. Shark Typhoon. Is it Daddy Shark time? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it is Daddy Shark time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cast the Daddy Shark that draws 2 cards. Destiny Spinner. That's a card I can play. I'm at 5, which is not a whole lot. Destiny Spinner, get in. Creatures and enchantments can't be countered, so now my Abundant Growths actually do resolve. I think I'm fine attacking because I can Hydroblast and Brainstorm just to make 2 sharks. If they have Broadside Bombardier or some other haste threat, I could force an unforceable thing to just get a 5/5. Got a lot of options with the Shark Typhoon in play. Uh-oh, they found a mountain. Have you been sitting on 2 Spirit Guides this whole time? Matron is fine. Slow and steady. That's Bombardiers. Okay, so you're at 16. I actually have to do math here. Maybe I was just supposed to force that for the 5/5. Okay, I have 6 enchantments. That means I have 6, 7, 8 mana. I can animate 2 lands into 12 12s. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That does force a block, which is what I actually need to make happen here. Okay, I am just going to go to my turn. Maybe I fire the Brainstorm for an extra 1/1 right now. Yeah, I think I want to do that. All right, give me that 1/1 shark. And I'll go to my turn. Another Brainstorm. Okay, so 6, 7, 8 mana lets me animate 2 lands. I'll target this Misty Rainforest and target this Volcanic Island. And now they have to block with Matron or they lose. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, okay. As long as... Oh, wait, this has Trample. No, if I attack with a shark, they just die. Okay, never mind. Or 6, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, the Destiny Spinner doesn't trample, though. Okay, so now I can Plow and Brainstorm and Hydroblast to make 3 blockers, if that's what the game comes down to. I could force something on the way through to make a 5/5. If I had forced the Goblin Matron, I actually just would have won the game. It resolves, but I get the 5/5. And if they double spell this turn, which is what they need to do to kill me, I can force one of the 2 spells, because they only have 1 cavern. Ooh, okay. That one was dicier than it needed to be, but we navigated it pretty excitingly. Sarah's Sanctum, who knew? You just tap a land for 6 in your control deck, and it turns out pretty good. Right back in. I'm on the draw with double Leyline Binding. The path to Domain in this deck is in Dotha Triumph Volcanic Island, but Leyline Binding costing 2, I can still cast it on turn 2. I am going to keep this. I might just get shithoused, but honestly, my deck doesn't have that much removal in it. There's so many role player cards like Prismatic Ending and the 4th Swords to Plowshares, that kind of stuff, has been cut for Enchantresses and draw engines, that the actual cards my deck plays are not even that robust. This Brainstorm complicates the matters. I guess Tundra plus Taiga casts Leyline Binding just as good as Dotha Triumph does, so I'm already good on it, that costing 2. I can just leave up Brainstorm in case they chalice. 4 mana represented right now. Rabble Master. This can be more mana if they want it to be. I don't think Brainstorming here actually solves any problems that I'm having, because then my Brainstorm would have to hit Force and blue card, and then I can't shuffle the cards anyway. Enchantress, no! Too far under the gun to even think about that. Oh, this is awkward. Rabble Master plus Skirk Prospector is a combo, because if they end up in combat, they get the 1/1. And if I Leyline Bind in the main phase, they get the mana. Yeah, I think I'm just going to bind this Rabble Master now before they can effectively use the mana off it. They are showing an easy 6 mana here, though. Land, Prospector your squad. Dude, chill. All right, more Rabbles. And this is 4 mana. Okay, I can Brainstorm, fetch any white source, and still bind this turn. Yeah, I'm going to Brainstorm. The Lingus, extremely slow here. Put back Island and Tundra. Savannah? Tundra. Maybe I keep the Island and put back Tundra, Misty Rainforest. Savannah, Misty Rainforest. That's kind of nitpicky, but it might matter. Right. I'm getting the Savannah. I'm Leyline Binding the Rabble Master again. Still 3 damage on the board. They still have cards in their hand. They did miss a land drop, though. But not really, because they have Skirk Prospector and Rabble Master generated something that they don't mind turning into a red. Battlecry Goblin. This is worth a lot of damage. Any mana source from hand is busted here, and even on board, they could just sack a token, pump the squad. That attacks for more than the token does anyway, and they immediately replace the token. All right, Supreme Verdict off the top. Once again, my last hope in this world. Verdict? Swords to Plowshares. I mean, as far as cards that aren't Supreme Verdict go. Okay, there's no red cards I'm going to cast this turn. There are blue and white cards I might cast this turn. I'm going to Beanstalk. I'd love a Hydroblast or another Plow. Force of Will, way late to the party. And I'm going to Plow Battle Cry Goblin before they can activate it on their turn. I'm sitting at 3 right now. Not feeling good about my life. If only I had a blue card for this Force, I might actually play this game. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm at 1. They hit a Ringleader and 2 lands and a Blood Moon off of that Ringleader. 1 life. Supreme Verdict doesn't even save me anymore because I know they have a haste creature in their hand. Abundant Growth. Saying there's a chance. Okay, I'm gonna Abundant Growth the Tundra. If I spike Sarah Sanctum here, something might be able to happen. Sarah Sanctum? Nope. Alright, super dead. Yeah, just a little behind there. Which we knew was a risk with the hand. I did keep a 5-lander with 2 mana removal spells in it, which is super slow against goblins. And my draw, like if Swords to Plowshares or Hydroblast came up a little earlier than it did, like we're actually kind of close to stability here. Like a Shark Typhoon, if I like make a 2/2, eat the Skirk Prospector on one of these turns, and then I have a 2/2 on board. I don't know. Like obviously this is bad, but on the draw against goblins with this deck, we have cut most of the interactive type of spells for draw engines in the deck. And that's just a decision that came up in deck building. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. On the draw for round 3, I like my hand. I wish it had a blue card, but I do like the setup and the medium term plan that the hand represents. They mull to 5. Okay. Busted combo, Stompy, or Unlucky. Fingers crossed for Unlucky. That's a Marsh Flats. Ooh, and Dotha Triome. Yeah, I'll just run that out. It plays around Stifle. I get Wastelanded on almost anything, and they didn't play any cards turn 1, so if they Wasteland me turn 2, I'm not even going to hurt too bad for that. We could just play this turn cycle over again, where maybe I have a blue card in my hand next turn. Marsh Flats for Tundra. Is this Esper Rescaminator? Caustic Bronco. Giddy up. Yeah, this is a cool card. It's even seen vintage play if you haven't seen it yet. 1 and a black, 2/2, Snake Horse Mount. You could ride that Snake Horse. Whenever this attacks, reveal the top card of your library, put it into your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value if Caustic Bronco isn't saddled. Otherwise, each opponent loses that much life, and it has saddle 3. So it's a Dark Confidant that can flip into a Yuriko. I'm going to play this up the Beanstalk, and I have found a blue card to go with my Force of Will. I could have just killed this Bronco. Ooh, dazing that. Is this worth my Force blue card? I think it's a no. Yeah, that was a really good daze. Esper Caustic Bronco aggro. Cool deck. Alright, so they're going to Dark Confidant here. They have no creatures to saddle with. They flipped a Bowmaster. That card's annoying. And I'm just going to force this now. I have to lose the Brainstorm to do that anyway. B-Storm coming to save me. I pitched 1 and it said, thank you. That was the right play. Okay, put back, I think, Savannah and Forest. And I would like to invest in Argothian Enchantress this turn. Start to get the hooks in. This Bronco has unmulligan them at this point. This attack will undo the mull to 5. But rather than kill it, I am betting that I could just outmuscle it. Flip to Flooded Strand. Brainstorm. I like their deck. Wherever this is going, I'm into it. Flooded Strand, fetching. Please don't have another Bowmaster, that would be so annoying. Ponder's fine. And we got to the untap. Leyline Binding. I'm drawing a land here. Just gotta work through it. And if I can knock this Snake Horse out of play, then their engine is collapsed now. And now they gotta actually play with the 4 cards they have, and they're not drawing 2 cards a turn. And hopefully I will be for the foreseeable future. Brainstorm. They've seen a lot of cards over the last couple turns. Brainstorm, Ponder, Brainstorm after the Snake Horse attack. Polluted Delta. 4 lands in play. Feels like more than they want. But they haven't shuffled yet. Hardcast Grief is live. Hardcast Force is now live too. I could cycle Shark Typhoon for a 3/3. Fetching a Delta. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Surveil land here, and they do actually have a Meticulous Archive. Bend to Swords to Plowshares. Heck yeah. Shroud, baby. You can't touch this. Stoneforge Mystic is a card you have. Don't love just tapping out into a Daze deck, but if I could get the 1-for-1 here, that's awesome. And I could decide if I want to force it again, if they do fight over it. Esper Stoneblade with Caustic Bronco. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Another Ponder. Keeping it coming. So many cards. Brainstorm, Ponder, Surveil, Horse Attack. They've seen like 17 cards in the last 1 turn. Leyline Binding's dope. Okay, yeah, I just have a handful of instant speed options I can do. 2 of them draw cards. Another Brainstorm. I feel like they're kind of in the spot that I've found myself with Esper decks lately, which is you have these cool, efficient little things like Bowmaster, Stoneforge Mystic, Caustic Bronco, Fairy Mastermind, all these neat little tricks you could do on 2 mana. And then if that gets stopped, your deck is just full of kind of shitty nonsense. Caustic Bronco can resolve. I have removal for that. But I'm going to Shark this turn. 3/3 Shark coming in. This might be a deck that plays Stifle. They seem like they might be low enough to the ground for that. But even this has 2 triggers. Like you either stop me from drawing a card or stop me from getting a token. And it's a 2-for-1 either way. All right, yeah, Bowmaster, sure. Annoying, but doesn't kill the Shark. Drew another Force of Will. I think I have quite enough of those at this point. Yeah, the nuts. All right, cool. That was great, because now I can delete the Bowmaster, which will trigger the Orc Army. Another Enchantress, too. Nice. And the Orc Army is big enough to saddle the Bronco now. But the Bronco doesn't beat the Shark in combat. I think I'm actually safe enough to stick another Enchantress this turn. Like if these creatures attack, I'll just block one of them with my 3/3. If they have some insane mess, like Brainstorm to set up a Temporal Mastery, Caustic Bronco me for 9, 7? What does Mastery even cost? Whatever. Hit me for a bunch. If they have the Ninja line where they do that, it's cool. If I could Force a Will or Removal Spell on the Shark. I don't really want to, but it is available. I think this is the big turn where they have to push that they're ahead on board right now, or else I'm going to catch up very quickly. Did not shuffle the Ponder. Wasteland. Do I care about that? I'll float a white. And you have to saddle as a sorcery, so they didn't actually even play around anything by doing that. And then just decided not to saddle. Orc Army, I'll block. I could force a Bowmaster out of their hand if their plan is to pump their Orc Army. And then I can bind their Bronco next turn. I will force this because I would like to bind the Bronco. They're Hellbent. I'm drawing 2 cards onto an empty Hellbent board over there. My goodness. Can't cast that card right now. But if I draw a land off this double cantrip, we are going completely insane. Oh my goodness. Behold. Just survive long enough and then this shit starts to happen. Volcanic Island, Fable. They might even concede to this. Bang. Up the Beanstalk, Shark Typhoon. I'm kind of in love with this deck, what it's doing its thing. Yeah, I thought you might. That was fun. Looks like a good Carpet of Flowers matchup. Not so much Wasteland, Blood Moon. How many basics did I see? I imagine they play some. Not gonna lie, I wasn't paying that close attention. I was busy staving off death. Force of Negation doesn't look important. Starling Grove doesn't look important, unfortunately. Someday I'll find a exciting use for that card. Beanstalk and Enchantress, I kind of like all of them. They're both liabilities with Bowmaster in play, so I have to prioritize not letting Bowmaster be in play. I don't like this many Force of Wills either. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this. Turn 1 Carpet. I'll take it. Opponent's on 6. Underground Sea, go. Basic Forest, my god. Hook this to my veins. Carpet of Flowers. If they daze this, their back will land and I'm functionally on the play. If they don't daze it, I'm plus mana and also functionally on the play. Insane. Alright, and I get to Abundant Growth. Not even done casting spells, by the way. Carpet's so good. Unfortunately, leading on the forest means that I'm farther from domain. But I think that's okay. Yes, make a green. Play Misty Rainforest and Argothian Enchantress. I'm going to let Bronco ride for a turn so I can get my cantrip engine going. I think that's more important. Okay, Dark Confidant, activate. Basic Island, revealed. Alright, so the Blood Moon might have been bad. B-Storm. Flooded Strand, and they're passing the turn. I'm going to fetch in the end step. I am going to get the Indoth Triome. Unless they stifle me. I mean, whatever. Okay, it's not stifle. They might just sneak a Bowmaster in while my shields are down. What are we doing with this? Children's Edict. Alright, yeah, that's pretty good too. Okay, I mean, that makes my plays worse, but it doesn't actually change them. Carpet of Flowers, trigger. I'm going to make white. And I currently have 3. Taiga can make it 4. Leyline Binding. And I'm holding up Swords of Plowshares. I'm going to use the less efficient answer now, while I'm more confident that it's good. And then I can save the more efficient answer for later. I would have preferred to draw a card off of that. That Children's Edict was not fair. Another horse. Snake Horse. Serenity. That's nasty. Alright, I'm going to plow the Snake Horse. And my plan is to Leyline Bind the Serenity. Lorien revealed. Okay. Yes, make white. Play my land. Bind the Serenity. Take that right away, and we game on. I can cast Lorien Revealed next turn. Kind of dangerous into the known Bowmaster strategy. We'll see what they do with their life here. It looks like they're just passing. I don't think they'll be able to resist Bowmastering this Shark cycle, so I'm going to put a 1/1 Shark out there, mostly just as a feeler for a Bowmaster before I fire Lorien Revealed into it. Okay, we got through the card draw successfully. Oh, now do I even care? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'll use Carpet's ability, make blue, play forest, blue, 3, 4, 5. Swords of Plowshares up. Their hand would have to be Bowmaster plus Counterspell after they just had a chance for a great Bowmaster exchange and didn't take it. Okay, they're wastelanding me in response. I'm going to float the white. Yeah, that was a really weird time to do that, but it's certainly legal. And if you had Bowmaster after all that, I don't know what to tell you. Not Bowmastering the Shark cycle may have been just a clever hide of information, but not Bowmastering my Lorien Revealed seems completely insane. Okay, that was smart. They had an end step Petty Theft, which bounced the Leyline Binding that had Serenity under it, which now blasts all this other stuff and gets them their Bronco back. Okay, that was a really good exchange. And I'm going to bounce right back from it. I have another Enchantress and can refire the Binding that they ended up bouncing. Cryptic Coat. Cool. Makes sense that's in this deck. They are Hellbent, though. All the way in. Enchantress, go. Basic Island. Put Abundant Growth on that. Trigger. I do have 4 land types right now, and I think I am inclined to Leyline Bind right now while I know it's going to work. How sick would it be if they just uncloaked a Orcish Bowmaster there? I would have deleted my account. I'm going to attack for 1. Can't block the creatures they have. Drawing the second Carpet's kind of nuts because they think Carpet's gone. They've already played out another island, and then they might fetch another one here. I'm going to have so much mana. We might see another Daddy Shark. Okay, they bounced Cryptic Coat back into that grind sesh. This can be blocked, but I'm not going to block it with Argothian Enchantress. It has Ward 2 all the time. It's only unblockable if it has the code on it. Stoneforge Mystic. I'm ready for that one. Tutoring up Cauldra. And deploying the coat. They got some cool stuff going on here, but I'm about to draw 3 or 4 cards this turn and put a Shark Typhoon into play. Okay, Carpet of Flowers, cast it, trigger. Alright, so now I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I'm going to leave my Shark back. Carpet, yes, make blue. Trying to set the world record here of most Shark Typhoons cast in a league. Not normally a play that I'm in for. Draws a card. Supreme Verdict, sick. Swords to Plowshares, the Stoneforge Mystic. Get a Shark. Supreme Verdict is an excellent blue card for this Force of Will. I don't really want to Wrath my own Argothian Enchantress out, but I would be happy to counter the Cryptic Code if they bounce and redeploy it. I am planning to double block this Cloak with my Sharks. They've got Cauldron, Hand, Brazen Borrower, and Exile, and 1 mystery card to work with. Plus, these could be creatures that could become creatures. Ooh, Caustic Bronco, giddy up. That was a creature that became a creature. That's a sick one to cloak at random. Okay, it's not saddled though, so they lose 2 for Lavinia. I'm going to double block this coat. That's a fine deal where I come from. If they play Lavinia, I may pivot onto Supreme Verdict. Children's Edict. Well, I was thinking about Supreme Verdicting anyway, so I guess that makes that kind of easy. Yeah, I'm not going to counter that. And end step, I don't think there's any reason to fetch. I still have Brainstorms in my deck. I don't have a tap land in my deck anymore. Destiny Spinner, oh my goodness. Okay. That is good for 4. Carpet's good for 3. I think I'm just going to make white here. And then Supreme Verdict this horse. White, blue. Supreme Verdict. I get a 4/4 briefly, then it dies. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I have fetch lands that can cast Force of Will. And that stops their Lavinia. Wait, what's this Force of Will? Is that in their hand? Where'd that come from, if true? Oh, no, that is the... Is that the... No, that's the creature that died in combat. That was the Force of Will. Okay. All right, I'm caught up. All right, they just didn't do anything. I like that. Yes, make green. Play Destiny Spinner. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can still Force of Will, but it doesn't untap anything. I'm just going to play my land out and pass. I probably have to force Brazen Borrower in this end step. No, that's not even true. I don't care about Brazen Borrower. Yeah, they're going to pick up their coat, play Brazen Borrower. I care about coat, not Borrower. The Shark Typhoon will answer a 3/1 flyer. And Lavinia doesn't turn off this Force of Will. I am set. I can pay full price for this baddie. These have Trample and Haste. They don't have Reach. If my opponent is very slow and meticulous, they might be able to find a way to wiggle past what I'm doing. Like if they've identified that I have reactive spells in my hand. But they're also just not beating the Destiny Spinner on board if they don't cast spells. I am now out of answers to Cauldra. Just have to respect that a little bit. Blood Moon. Is this even a card I want to play? Alright. Yes, make green. Destiny Spinner, target Forest. And then Destiny Spinner, target Windswept Heath. I'm just going to bash for lethal here. Their 1 mystery card better save 2 damage somehow. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. Alright, they ping me to 8, so if they draw a land here, they actually win. Because the Cauldra plus Brazen Borrower is exactly enough to do that. They went to 2, which is better than 1. And I can't cast Blood Moon just to get a Shark anymore because I spent all my mana. Okay, I mean, they may have found the line here. If they draw a land, they're going to win. But they just fetched, which dilutes the lands, but they get double looks at land. Come on, surveil away. Surveil away. Don't do me like this. This was such a good game. They put a card on top. No! Yeah, they had to have Bowmaster there. Or like some flash spell. Some removal spell that's not... Yeah, they needed a removal spell that wasn't Swords to Plowshares, basically. Yeah, I could have played safer. Alright, Blood Moon's bad. Flusterstorm. kind of medium. Maybe I do like the Force of Will. I have so many card draw engines that I think just keeping pressure off is worth it. Okay, I'm going back in like this. Blood Moon's out, Force is back in. This hand has a turn 3 Fable. I'll keep this. First appearance of Uro in the entire universe. That's a card I like and prefer to draw rather than not draw. There is only one. Tundra, Ponder. I'm going to reveal for Volcanic Island in case I draw one of my many 2-mana cards in the deck. Alright, they've got a Tundra. I hid the Volk because with these 2 Fables in hand, I have more white mana in my deck than red. Okay, we've seen Daze in their deck, but let's put them to the test. They're on the draw versus a grindy control deck. They might not even have Daze in anymore. And the Fable just happens. I could force this, or I could bind it in the future. I think I'm fine letting you have this thing. Ping me for 1. Stoneforge Mystic. I'm going to force this one, pitching Shark Typhoon. Because I have multiple things I want to answer here. Ooh, that was a good Wasteland. Okay, well, that makes my life harder. I guess I could discard Uro, and then Orc Army's big enough to do stuff, or I could just not do that and attack. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'll just attack and play another Fable. Grind back in that way. I don't want to give them any easy exchanges. Just ramming Fables into play. Just playing Pioneer right now. That's powerful 2-drops versus Fable and Mirror Breaker. There's Serenity. Another Wasteland. Yeah, alright, well, this Leyline Binding is crushing that I cannot play it. Up the Beanstalk. Okay. Discard 2 cards. I think I have to discard Uro this time around and just try to make anything happen here. Okay, that counts as anything. This Misty Rainforest can fetch Tundra, which makes binding cost 3. I'm going to attack first and see how they want to handle this, because they can just trade off with my whole squad here. This one has 1 damage on it, they have a 1/1, this is a 2/2. Okay, just letting damage through. A fetch for Tundra. 1, 2, 3. Leyline Binding. Take the Serenity. And I have 2 cards in my hand that are not optional card draws. Slightly concerning versus the Bowmaster. I don't really want to cast either of these cards. But Fable is doing the damn thing here. Brainstorm, fetch. I am very close to Splinter Twinning them with double Reflection. But I don't have a lot of mana to execute that with. A Stoneforge Mystic. Better late than never. That is actually a good one. And they got Cryptic Coat, which makes me think Kaldra's already in the hand, because Cryptic Coat doesn't really help on this board, but Kaldra is really good. Kind of just want to draw lands. That qualifies. Kind of. Does that qualify? Is that useful to me in this situation? Okay, I can play Carpet. I guess Uro's in my graveyard. Yeah, this Carpet will be really good eventually. And do I want to Splinter Twin, or do I just want more Goblins now? I think I just want more Goblins now. With 2 reflections, the thing I'm talking about with Splinter Twinning, if you haven't seen that, is Reflection of Kiki Jiki can copy another Reflection of Kiki Jiki in your opponent's end step, and then they can bounce back and forth, and you can make a 2/2 for every mana you have. Which, right now, I don't have that much mana, is the issue. Right, I'm going to make green, and I will at least dump out the Enchantress. Maybe it chump blocks, maybe it's not good, but I'd rather have it in play than not. Because I do play Answers to Bowmaster in my deck. And having engines, once that happens, is a good idea. Another Brainstorm. They've seen many, many cards here. And looks like they're just passing, just like I said, pretty clear Ambush Kaldra situation. Leyline Binding, you don't say. My old pal. It costs 3 right now. If I make white off of this, I can go after the Bowmaster and then unlock my whole engine. I do have to draw a card first, so they do get an Orc Army. But if I can clear Bowmaster, life is good. Another Leyline Binding, that covers the Kaldra. 1 damage on Reflection of Kiki Jiki. And their Force of Willingness. Okay. That means I have to pump the brakes a little bit. And I'm just going to pass the turn. I'm not going to give them a free kill on a Reflection. I can just bind Leylines on future turns. They're down to 2 cards that force pitched Ponder. The cards in their hand might very well be Cryptic Code and Cauldra. Oh, they put nothing in off Stoneforge in the end step. That's weird. What does that mean? Pest Control. This kills all my treasures and my Carpet of Flowers. And my token. Bummer. Alright. Yeah, that's a good card. Might as well go white, 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 and Leyline Bind the Bowmaster here. Draws another card. Orc Army's now 2-2. Big enough to party. Bindings in, take Bowmaster. And there's nothing to do here except let this resolve. That was worth a lot of mana. I can get 1 reflection, 1 bonus reflection here. Oh, Pest Control also kills their Orc Army. That's so funny. I forgot about that. Nice. Okay, now the shields are down to launch, kind of. I'm going to Beanstalk into Argothian Enchantress. This is 2 draws. Love to see a Swords to Plowshares. They can't Bowmaster right now. Brainstorm. I think I just attack with my bonus buddy and leave the other reflections back, or I could put them to 4 if they don't do something. Yeah, this isn't even that high impact. They can't Cauldra right now. Just put you to 4. Nice. Okay, cool. My reflections are tapped, but they did get in as the mighty gray ogres that they are. Uro still in the graveyard for my next land drop. At 4 life, they might not even be able to attack reliably with Caustic Bronco if they find one. They'd have to saddle it to be super safe, or set it up, or just, I guess, roll the dice, but makes return attacks pretty dangerous. Okay, it's my turn again. They just didn't do anything. And I'm gonna just pass back, and my plan is to Splinter Twin, make 3 extra 2/2s in the end step with them at 4. Finally, time for Stoneforge Mystic. Cryptic Coat is the guy. 2 cards left in their hand. A land. Still 2 cards in the hand. A removal spell breaks up my Splinter Twin situation. Like, if they just plowed this right now, then I don't get to do this. They successfully copied. Now I'm going to copy the copy. And I'm out of range of removal at this point. Like, I'm already doing the thing. And now they can't actually take important things from me if they were to plow. It's bonus 3 2/2s in the end step. All right, Splinter Twin situation. This Flooded Strand represents Uro. I could just attack with everybody here. If they bring in Cauldra, they still lose. I'm going to play Flooded Strand and attack with all my Kiki Jikis. Let's make you have it. Here they come. Basic limited combat math. Is it good enough? Okay, they said they were a little rusty and brainstormed wrong, and that's what happened on that turn where I said, why didn't anything come in off Stoneforge? They were, I guess they misstacked a brainstorm. Okay, well, on to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in round 4 with a hand that is sketchy versus Wasteland, and I'm fine with against anything else. I'm going to keep it. A Forest and a Noble Hierarch. Okay, so this is probably Cradle Control, which is good news because that deck sometimes plays Wasteland, but it's not like a Wasteland deck specifically, and I don't even know if the current builds have it at all. I've seen 2 cards without the second land yet. We're working on it. Fingers crossed. Verdant Catacombs. Fiend Artisan. I'm going to let that resolve. I am trying to work my way up to Supreme Verdict here. Might be too slow. Also trying to solve this land dilemma. It would be great if we just draw a land this turn, especially a fetch land. Come on, deck, hook it up. Well, I'm going to brainstorm. We're not done yet. Yeah, all right, the last card revealed off the brainstorm was, in fact, the fetch land. Okay, I don't need 2 up the Beanstalks here. Leyline Binding is going to be good next turn. And I don't think I need 3 forces. Okay. Put back the 3 forces. Here I can Abundant Growth now, or I could cycle Lorien Revealed, and that actually builds out Domain better. Kind of like just Abundant Growthing now. Tropical Island and Taiga both get me a 3rd land type. There's nothing here that gets me a 4th. Oh wait, no. Yes, there is. Volcanic Island. But that doesn't cast Abundant Growth. That's the problem. Right, because Savannah is base green. We have to get a green land if we want to place Abundant Growth here. Yeah, alright, figured it out. In that case, it doesn't matter, and I'll select Tropical Island. Found the land, alright. Gotta survive this turn. Leyline Binding something next turn, and then Supreme Verdict the turn after that. That's the plan. They could just jam Grist into play here, which is what Leyline Binding's for. Grist, normally the smart play versus control decks to just have something sticky in play. They could still have Cradle from hand and 3 mana here, but they don't. That's big. Land's all lined up now. That's all good stuff. Can I... Nope. There's no route to a swamp and a mountain here. So I can't Beanstalk plus Leyline Binding, even though I do have the mana to do it all. If I had Domain. And I have 5 color mana, perfect 5 color mana, but that's not the whole story here. If I fetch Indatha Triome. Leyline Binding currently costs 3. Indatha Triome will give me Swamp. Be okay. I'm going to fetch for the Triome. And I'm just going to bind Grist now. Because Grist does poop out insects, which make mana off Cradle. It's not nothing that Grist is in play right now. Okay, moment of truth. Can they kill me or tutor out some nonsense that beats a Supreme Verdict here? Elvish Reclaimer's fine. They didn't have the Cradle last turn. Kind of hope they just play out a bunch of creatures. All right, you got one more creature. Put it into play. Put it in. Put it in. And looks like they're just bashing for 5 with Fiend Artisan. Deal. Are you sure I can't convince you to cast another 1-drop before you pass the turn? All right, no sale. However, Supreme Verdict. We put 1 in the main for situations like this. Tropical Island gives me Domain. White, 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 blue. Splat. And now we are unloading into Up the Beanstalk, Force of Will, Uro endgame. If they just cast a Fiend Artisan here, I probably have to force it, because that's really good on its own. But if they're just dropping out like Noble Hierarchs, I don't care. Zenith for 1. This probably gets Reclaimer. It's Reclaimer or Shepherd. I think I'm going to try to beat a Reclaimer heads up. Because now that we've swept the board once, okay, it's Noble Hierarch. Yeah, they are just trying to make mana. Aren't we all, though? The human condition is just trying to make mana. All I want to do is make some mana. Beans. Binding. Yeah, that's fully gassed. Brainstorm. Wow. Alright. I love the just complete nihilism of having 5 color lands. You're just like, I'll tap anything, I don't care. We're good. Okay, I think Enchantress is too much here. I'm gonna put Enchantress and Uro back in that order. Like, I'd love to just slam Enchantress here, but I think shuffling away any of these other cards to get the Enchantress into play because my second mana is off of a fetch land is not worth it. I currently feel very good about the game. Collector Roof. That's not the one. I think I'm just going to bind a Ignoble Hierarch in the end step. That takes them off black, which gives them Grist. And I think I can outmuscle the rest of their stuff with these forces and removal spells that I have. Enchantress, Uro. If Uro hits a white source, I'm also holding up Binding. It did not. That's fine. I still have Force blue card. And we're chilling. Multiple engines online. Enchantress, Beanstalk, Uro in the graveyard, and Lorien Revealed in hand. They can attack for 3 here, but Uro's going to undo all that work. Endurance. I could Force of Will this, pitching the Lorien Revealed. But I could just let them have Endurance and I lose my Uro, and I have all these other engines online. I'm going to force pitching Lorien, because I do want to keep Force of Will in my hand. This is a natural order deck with Atraxa. So I'm not just going to go fully shields down, thinking I'm under control when I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play Uro and miss, they could, if their hand is natural order, which it could be. All right, I'm going to play Uro. Any blue card drawn is a heater. And if they miss their land drop, also a heater. I could also just Leyline Bind the Noble Hierarch and lock it out. I think I'm going to do that, actually. Yeah, Leyline Bind Noble Hierarch. Now I don't think there's any draws in their deck that can get them to Natural Order from this position exactly. And I have a Lingus Bomb next turn. I could Lingus for 1 now. Just take the Monarch. Interesting. Or it's for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 damage next turn, plus whatever Uro does. I kind of like just getting the Monarch now. Give me that. Because I did miss on a blue card on all those draws. And I would like to have one. So this is another opportunity to do that. And the Monarch gives me Sarah's Sanctum. Ooh. And I have nothing to sink all that mana into. That would have been so messed up. If I just waited, the 4th Aerolygus would have been one shot. It's fine. It's fine. Bajuka bogging me. Alright, cool. They did draw the land, but it was a tap land, and I'm glad I played Uro, or else Bog would have just cleared it. Ignoble Hierarch. And now I'm untapping into Force of Will, and life is good. I'm just going to attack with my 2 creatures that have power. I'll put in Savannah. I'm hiding the Sarah Sanctum. It's just not doing anything right now. And Enchantress. Enchantress. Still holding up Force of Will. Monarch. Another land. Okay, if their hand can't be everything it needs to be, because they would need Mana Source, Natural Order, and Allosaurus Shepherd, and out of 2 cards. Cool. All right. The solo Supreme Verdict did the thing there. I don't really have a lot for this matchup. Damping Sphere shuts off Cradle, which is a foundation of their deck. Force Negation does very little. Blood Moon, they can play around it. They can also just get got by it if they don't expect it. I might mess around with Blood Moon. And once again, I think Sterling Grove's got to go. That was just for funsies, and it has turned out to be not good. This list doesn't have any Dress Downs or Doorkeeper Thralls in it. Those might be worth thinking about in future iterations if anyone wants to keep working on this. This hand is extremely grindy, but does not respond to my opponent at all. I'm going to mulligan. Knowing what they're on, I think this one's better. It has the upside of seeing a bunch of cards, where the other one didn't see cards until turn 3 and 4, where we might be dead by then. A Forest, Abundant Growth. The Nut Draw. Designing new shirts with Coalesce right now. Forest, Abundant Growth, keep. Check out the Receivables, by the way. Speaking of Coalesce and Cedric, Receivables is awesome. They are now partnered with the BoshNRoll channel. We're just promoting each other. We're not like going to be on each other's shows or anything, to my knowledge. But it's exciting because I like that show. Great people. Good time. Okay, back to the game. I've come up with multiple sorts of plowshares since I started narrating. I'm going to put back one of the Enchantresses. And I am going to fetch basic planes. All of this hurts my Leyline Binding, but it all helps my Blood Moon. I did bring that in, right? Did I just fetch around it for no reason? No, I did not. Okay, cool. And next turn, I can Beanstalk plus Plow. Still playing on basics if I want to do that. Ooh, Grist is a beating. I am not ready right now for that one. Grist and Natural Order were the 2 cards. I didn't really want them to cast that turn. We draw for turn. It's Argothian Enchantress. I just got rid of that. What are we doing here? Up the Beanstalk. Finds the basic island. I'd rather play Flooded Strand in this particular situation. Maybe I was supposed to play an Enchantress in that spot now that Grist is out and I see that they're kind of slow grinding. Get the double draw off Beanstalk next turn. I can still hold up Plow. That didn't change anything. But Beanstalk gave me the out to hit a blue card for Force right now. Which I did not, but it was technically available. Natural Order is pretty good here. It gets Atraxa who dies immediately, but it's still, you know, a reload. I think I'm just not going to fetch here if they don't make me. My poison. It says I get to pick it, but I actually don't. Oh wait, yes I do. I can sack Abundant Growth. LOL, got him. Okay, I was making a joke about not picking my poison, but I actually do get to pick. I'm in. My mana's fine. I want up the Beanstalk. Oh, 3 mana. This looks like Zenith for Fiend Artisan, which I will plow immediately. Oh, Gadok. I'll plow that too. Indatha Triome unlocks Swamp. Yeah, maybe I won't plow immediately. I'll plow next turn and just get domain set up because I do need to answer Grist at some point. Oh, that card's good in the future. All right, plow Teague because I can't cast that right now because of Teague. Good play. Argothian Enchantress. This is how you sell a bluff. You play into it a little bit. Where, why would somebody with a Wrath in their hand play out a powerful creature? Good question. Grist milled a Once Upon a Time. There's only one creature in their graveyard, so Grist is at ultimate mode, but it drains me for 1 right now, which is not very good. Come on, Leyline Binding. Fable the Mirror Breaker. That is not castable because I picked my poison. And I can just run out another one of these. Like right now, they're not pressuring me in a way that Supreme Verdict even makes sense. Right now, Supreme Verdict's better as a blue card in case they rip Natural Order. Ooh, and step something. We're just jamming Endurance. We are just jamming Endurance. That's fine. That dies to Supreme Verdict also. Slurping away my graveyard. I really only use that for Hall of Heliod and Uro, neither of which are currently in the mix, so that's okay. Bunch of damage, though. I'm not ready to chump block with Argothian Enchantress. Not yet. If I draw a red source this turn, and I can play Fable, draw 2 cards, I'll chump block with everything next turn, and then untap and Wrath. They milled a Thoughtseize with Grist. The old Bajuka Bog right after Endurancing me. You love to see it. Speaking of seeing it, they haven't shown me a Cradle yet in either of these 2 games with their Cradle control deck. Up the Beanstalk. All right, how about we just draw 3? 1, 2. Or it's yeah, it is draw 3. They could have a Bowmaster. Glad they didn't. That would have been a really miserable card to have to Force of Will here. Another Enchantress. Go on another Beanstalk. Let's draw another 3 cards. I still have my land drop. Now I have a blue card I don't mind pitching to Force. And now Force is an Ancestral Recall. What's going on here? 4 mana in response to this. Oh, Force of Vigor. I think that's fine. The damage has been done on those. They've already both been worth cards. Force of Will is on Natural Order duty. Still no lands in any of these draws. How about now? One more. One more for the road. Yikes. All right. Draw 1 million cards, go to cleanup because none of them were lands. Perfect. I'm going to discard this other Enchantress. I think I'm done doing that sort of thing this game. And my plan here is to chump block to absorb damage and then Wrath to clean up, and then I gotta beat Grist still. Right, this block should tell them I plan to Supreme Verdict. Or maybe not, because that attack would have just put me to 1. Maybe they think that was just... Alright, yeah, the Grist was actually lethal there if I block nothing, so I actually get to live another day bluffing that. The Hoof's gone. If I Wrath, they will have 4 creatures in the graveyard, though. Yeah, this Grist might just get under the wire. Damn. Okay. Yeah, they just fetch Dryad Arbor, attack me to 4, zap me with Grist. They get it. Maybe they don't know Grist can do that. Maybe they'll forget. Gotta play to my outs. Supreme Verdict. They got 1 card in their hand. This fetch land is actually representing lethal. Miserably as that is. I am dead on board, and I know that. I just hope they don't know that. Fetching. Dryad Arbor. Okay. I'm at 4. In for your 1. Moment of truth. Turns out they know how that card works. Okay, soloed by Grist that game. That was the only thing that mattered that entire game. What can I do about that for game 3? All my Force of Wills are in. Force of Negation doesn't counter Grist because it's a creature on the stack. All my Leyline Bindings are in. And Leyline of the Void is an ugly, air quotes, answer to that. Like, Grist functionally doesn't have an ultimate if you have Leyline to play, but I'm not going that route. I can't do it, I won't. I think Damping Sphere might have been stupid, and I'm bringing in Wasteland instead. Let's try this again. Swords to Plowshares I like. I don't like that I have no blue mana. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. Having removal counterspell in this hand I think is good enough to buy time to unlock the blue mana. Just need my deck to cooperate even a little bit here. Opponent went to 5. That's a nice little gift for my hand that needs time to develop. Once Upon a Time. All right, they didn't even know what their 5 Guardian was. That's exciting. 4.5 cards. 4.75 card opening hand. Bayou. And Ignoble Hierarch. So now I have the Turbo Spew option of just plowing this thing, which I think I am going to take. because they mulled so low. Just try to high roll a steal. Oh, that Blood Moon's weird. Okay, I'm glad I plowed the Hierarch based on drawing Blood Moon. But, okay. Now it's looking worse. I really need a fetch land to play this game right now. Alright, this Zenith gets Dried Arbor. Okay, yeah, the plow on the Manosaurus was not where I actually needed to squeeze here. Wrong. This costs 4 because Savannah is the 2 types that Plains and Forest are. That's embarrassing. They're down to 2 cards though, and I still have Force of Will, so we're not dead yet. Like, this hand, we knew this could happen, and the hand can absorb it for a little while, but not much longer. My next land, no matter what it is, even if it's Hall of Heliod or Wasteland, can cast Leyline Binding. We have reached that point of the game. Please just shove Natural Order. That's the out I need here. Guy's Cradle. Okay. Please don't have Veil of Summer. Alright, yeah, that was good. We got a 2 for 2. Come on, deck. Yeah, we're in there. Okay. So this is actually awkward because I believe it's correct to put Abundant Growth on Savannah, so it continued tapping for mana under Blood Moon. But Magic Online has had this backwards before. Blood Moon is a type-changing effect, which happens before ability granting, which means that no matter what order, it's not timestamps because they're on different layers. Abundant Growth should always work under Blood Moon, but Magic Online has done that wrong in the past. And I'm just a little worried to push my luck on that. All right, I'm gonna growth the Plains, which now unlocks Brainstorm and hopefully gets us ahead in this game. They got 4 mana. This Enchantress is so tempting, but if I Brainstorm and hit a land, I could still Enchantress. All right, yeah, why would that happen? Blood Moon. I think I'm out on Blood Moon. Blood Moon's out. Uro's really good. Yeah, Enchantress is out. Island Cycle. Tundra gives me 1 new land type. Volk gives me 2. Yep, it's Volk. Okay, I can force again if I need to, but if I don't need to, Uro's going to start doing stuff. Elvish Reclaimer, I have that covered. Jam another Natural Order. Zenith for 2. That's going to be a Fiend Artisan. I don't really want to be Hellbent versus an Ignoble Hierarch. I could put the game to that situation, or I could let them have Fiend Artisan. I could play Uro. Answer Fiend Artisan. Uro's bad versus Elvish Reclaimer. I'm going to take my medicine here. I hate this so much, but I believe it's correct. Hopefully the world will feed me an Enchantress or a Beanstalk, so I can cantrip my way through this Leyline Binding that I'm also going to have to cast this turn. No such luck. I'll zap this Elvish Reclaimer before it starts tutoring Urza's Sagas or any other nonsense. I'm going to sandbag this Tundra and make them think about it. They do play Thoughtseize. We've seen it. If they Thoughtseize the Tundra here, I'll be pretty happy. If they draw Natural Order, I'm going to throw my computer out the window. Oh my god. Well, okay. No, I mean, that's still bad, but it's not Natural Order. It is bad, though. Supreme Verdict off the top? Up the Beanstalk? Alright, let's just play that turn over again. Whee! Alright, same thing, except my mana's worse. Don't draw Natural Order, again. And they move straight into combat. You love to see it. I played a land that does represent Dryad Arbor. I need some action. That is not action, it is defense. I'm on an 8-turn clock here if nothing changes, but now at least I don't care if they top deck Natural Order. Oh, they went for the selection over the guaranteed creature. That's cool. And they kept the card. Scary. 4 in the pool. Is this Zenith or Natural Order? Looks like Zenith. All right, Force of Will showed up not 1 second too late. Here we go. Back to Hellbent versus an Ignoble Hierarch, the game we've been playing for the last 4 turns now. If nobody draws another relevant card for the whole game, they are winning. Come on, deck. Abundant Growth. Let's go. That's a redraw. Hook it up, hook it up. Argothian Enchantress. Okay, okay. Engines are under me. This, just having Enchantress around massively increases the quality of what I can draw in my deck. Because they have Zeniths, they have Natural Orders, they've got Once Upon a Time they can dig, they got Fiend Artisans, Elvish Reclaimers, they have a higher density of hits than me. But if half my deck cantrips now, I can really get something going. They attacked for 1 and didn't do anything else. So it's Endurance or a land are the cards that could be in their hand right now. Ugh. Speaking of land in hand. Pass. I actually think this could be an excellent Yorion deck because we have so many redundant engines and Abundant Growth is great with Yorion, so is Up the Beanstalk. But I just didn't build this version this way. I did think about it. But the list that came from Pedro was not Yorion, so I didn't mess with it too much. Wasteland. Fascinating. I will put that into play and just hold. I'm not going to zap off on a Cradle that only makes 1 mana anyway. This can hit a Dried Arbor or an Urza Saga. It might be weird that I'm mentioning Urza Saga, but Legacy Cradle control is completely berserk these days, and many of the lists have 1 copy of Urza Saga that you can tutor for. Yeah, we got him with the Thoughtseize. That Thoughtseize might be punching a hole for the Natural Order that's also in their hand, and then nobody actually got anyone. Well, someone got someone, but it wasn't me. Yeah, this looks like they were punching a hole for Natural Order. Now I'm going to have to beat an Atraxa. Yeah, they're just retapping in a way that makes more sense. All right, here she comes. The Phyrexian Queen. Okay, you've got lands, creatures, and Thoughtseize to choose from. I'm going to die pretty quick to this, but I do have answers to it. Leyline Binding, can't trip my way out of this, is a line. Beanstalk draws 2 if I hit 1 here. It just gives me more gas. Basically need the deck to deliver at this point. They kept Shepherd, Cradle, and Thoughtseize off of that. Want to Thoughtseize me again? All right, Shep's in. This is 7, 12. Not quite lethal on board. Okay, deck. Hook it up. Give me the goods. Deliver something that draws a card. I guess I'll run out the Taiga because they know about it. Nothing to hide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they have a redundant Cradle in hand. Yeah, this is going to hurt. Got him. You know, while getting my ass kicked, I will at least have the moral victory of them taking 4 life from 2 Thoughtseizes throughout the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they didn't make their land drop, so this is only 8 damage. It's a 2-turn clock either way, but for stuff like Fetch Lands, Force of Will, not being able to activate the Shep actually matters. Okay, deck. We've got another chance here. Oh no. You drew Grist? Come on, chill. Okay, that was the best card in the whole deck to draw. Deck, can we give it back here? Can we just serve it back a little bit? Match this energy with our own. 1 good card. Shark Typhoon's a good card. How do I use it? 5/5. They don't get trample. I could Shark Typhoon for X equals 1 in the main phase, but then I die to Grist. They just kill it and attack with Atraxa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can't trade with Atraxa anyway. Grist, there are 2 creature cards in the graveyard. 5. This is going to be lethal. This is going to be lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could cast Shark Typhoon and just hope that there's any spell. Any 2-mana spell. Casting Shark Typhoon here seems so berserk crazy when I actually need a blocker. Okay, I am going to pass the turn. Okay, here we go. Sharking into Leyline Binding is the best outcome here. I would love to main phase that Shark for 1 and then just unlock all my sorcery speed stuff, but Grist just kills me in that outcome. Okay, so if I... Yeah, Wasteland doesn't do anything. All right, I'm going to Shark Typhoon for 1. Blue. 1, 2. Shark Typhoon for 1. Come on, Leyline Binding. Binding, 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 binding. Draw that card. Fable. Well, I would have preferred to main phase that. I should have wasted the Cradle, so I know if they're going to pump the Shepherd or not. Damn it. Yeah, the Wasteland actually did matter there, and I blew it. But I tapped the Wasteland for Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I should have thought about that more. Okay, Supreme Verdict also doesn't win the game because they'll have enough creatures to grist me out. Okay, deck. Let's go. Let's go. Real draw. Good card. That's not it. We're dead. All right. Yeah, that Shark Typhoon play. It sucks that the Grist, that they drew Grist after going off anyway. Like, countering Natural Order, both players Hellbent. Next turn, they're like Thoughtseize Natural Order you after 2 draw steps. Okay. That's already tough, and we're grinding from behind, and then the Grist to follow it up just hard locked most of my outs. Those were great games, though. On to the final round. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bizarre Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. On the draw in the final round versus Punishing Waterfalls, who's always on some sort of exciting brew, I'm gonna mulligan this hand that doesn't do anything. I will keep this hand that has a forced blue card, and I can cheeky Lingus if I need to. Oh god. Well, we're dead. There is basically no universe where I can beat a Cloudpost deck with this build of this deck. Yeah, the thing about Cloudpost is you need extremely specific types of answers to what they're doing, because at some point it doesn't even matter anymore what your deck is, because they're just more powerful than every deck ever. And my list has 1 Wasteland and 1 Blood Moon in the sideboard, no real way to apply pressure at all, and cutting all the action cards for draw engines, as I've mentioned, is the plan of this deck multiple times, does not function in this matchup particularly. I will at least try to take the Monarch, and if there is a way to cheese a quick action, it's this, but, you know, they just play like Ugin or something now, and I lose. Even though I've done a pretty cool thing, which is become the Monarch on turn 3 in my control deck. Yep, 1 Ring Crankin', got Boseiju, Elvish Reclaimer. Living the dream here. I think if I chose what matchup is the worst matchup in all of Magic the Gathering for the exact deck that I'm playing right now, it is this one. I guess I have Damping Sphere too, so maybe it's not quite as dire as I've sold it to be, but I mean, it's bad. Okay. 1 rings up to 2. They're down to 20 life. Glimmer Post, just the gaining 3, already washed that out. Pithing Needle. I don't play Wasteland in the main, but that is the safe name. Yep, Wasteland was named. I have Ugin, and this is 3, 6, 7. Yep, all right. Eldrazi are happening next turn. Leyline Binding doesn't save me. And it might. Okay, so if I play Flooded Strand and Fable the Mirror Breaker, I can fetch. I get Tropical Island. Indaltha plus Volcanic is Domain. I'm going to play a Fable, which draws a card. Makes a 2/2. I'm going to push damage because I have to. I didn't attack last turn because I didn't want to have to block with Argothian Enchantress to keep the Monarch, but that's not a concern this turn. Oh, Elvish Reclaimer's tapped. If they choose to Reclaimer instead of Eye of Ugin, that gives me a window. All right, it looks like Reclaimer's untapped, and they're just like, oh, wait, I have 7. GG. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they could just Ulamog me right now. Yeah, okay. That's the play. Found it. Ulamog. And Ulamog is extra messed up because Ulamog's trigger happens on cast, which means that my domain won't even exist at the time where I would like to remove Ulamog. I'm going to have to untap and then hard cast it some other way. And now they're just kind of playing whack-a-mole with my lands. Crop rotation. Well, if you're going to give me literally anything to target with Force of Negation, I'm taking it. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that crop rotation actually cost them the Ulamog, which they have a land drop, but they're just back in it. Fine. Fine! Okay. Let's see where these go. Do you attack the engines? Do you attack the lands? Okay, attacking the engines. That's okay. You get your 1 ring back, but you don't have protection. Another Reclaimer, also fine. I'm going to bind this Ulamog and continue bashing. That's my plan. I say bashing like they're not still at 18 life. Like I've been crushing them so far. Up to this point, it's been a slaughter. Yep, take Ulamog. Fable triggers. Yes, I'm going to discard both of the lands or land Enchantress. I could go Enchantress, Enchantress, Abundant Growth, draw 3 this turn. That actually sounds dope as shit. I'm discarding the lands. Destiny Spinner. Can we turn this around? Is there a line? Okay, green, colorless Enchantress. Green, colorless Enchantress. Abundant Growth, target, Tropical Island. Draw 3 cards. I'm looking for Sarah's Sanctum to try to really flip this thing. I have Force Blue card. I have Swords to Plowshares. I can attack for 4 here. Yeah, I mean, that attack feels pretty safe. Okay, they're at 14. And I can play Destiny Spinner right now with my treasure. It taps me out of Swords to Plowshares, but it does draw me 3 cards. I'm doing that. All right, 1, 2, 3. That's also a blocker. I have to discard 2 cards after the Monarch. I'm going to lose Forest, and I think we're past Up the Beanstalk. Up the Beanstalk does draw 4 cards when I cast it, though, and if I'm trying to unlock... Yeah, Hall of Heliod is not going to come up this game. It's going to be way faster than that. They tap the One Ring. 6 cards in hand, 13 life. And we did survive the first Eldrazi. If they have to Eye of Ugin, that's going to be pretty slow. If they just have another Eldrazi ready to go, that could be more difficult. Oh, Smuggler Surprise. I am surprised. What does this do? Mill 4. You may put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Hell no. What? Oh, mill 4, put up to 2 creatures or lands from among the mill cards in your hand. Okay, so this is just Tooth and Nail. I'm going to counter that. A 3rd Reclaimer. All right, I see why Waterfalls is playing with this deck now. There is a fun new card to toy around with. Okay, can I win? Sarah's Sanctum. Can I find you? Are you in exile somehow? No. Supreme Verdict is. Where'd that go? Did I pitch it to Force? All right. Whatever. Okay, Up the Beanstalk is good for 4 cards, like we said. There are red cards in my deck, but I have an Abundant Growth in play. Up the Beanstalk. Rip it. Leyline Binding. Force of Will. Abundant Growth. Sarah's Sanctum. Oh, okay. That means Abundant Growth is, air quotes, free. Do I need to draw 4 more cards right now, though? Can I win right now? I have 5 enchantments. I can make it 6 enchantments with the Abundant Growth. 7 enchantments to the Leyline Binding. That's also free. Interesting. Okay. Sarah's Sanctum has to be the land. Okay, here's Sarah's Sanctum. I'm just playing it out because I need to math. 5, 6, 7. I don't have a treasure. That would be 8. 5. Yeah, I can actually only animate 1 land here. Disappointing. I only have to do 11, though, because they have the One Ring on 2. 5, 6. I could just cast Shark Typhoon. Try to survive a turn. 5, 6. Cast Shark Typhoon. Which does trigger all the shit. Might just deck myself. None of these draws are optional. And I can attack with some stuff here. Horse, Goblin, Destiny Spinner. Do I think they'd quad block? Because I could blow out a quad block. I'm going to attack with everything. Everything that has power that can attack. All right, so we're double blocking both of those jerks. Changing your mind. Okay. My blocking order doesn't change here. I think Swords to Plowshares on at least one of these is good. I can actually kill all the Elvish Reclaimers right now. That's really good. Kill all the Elvish Reclaimers, make a bunch of sharks. Okay, so 18 cards in my deck. I have Force Blue card available. I'm still the Monarch. I have to discard 3 cards here. It's going to be Abundant Growth, Uro. Nope, not Uro. Oh no, I can't unclick this. Are you serious, Magic Online? I still have Force Blue card, but that's not what I meant to do. Okay. I need double Force to hold the line here for a turn. If I just get Embercooled, I lose, but I was not expecting to be in this game at all when I saw Cloudpost on turn 1. All right, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana available. Primeval Titan, Force of Will that. I am literally countering anything that can be countered here. Because I have lethal on board, I just need to survive the turn. That's a 5/5 shark. The One Ring, Force of Will. Another 5/5 Shark. This is what happens when you draw your deck. You can have a bunch of forces. Okay, they got 2 mana left. Very dead on board. Pithing Needle. Name something funny, then concede. Card is Good Fortune Unicorn. Okay, I'll take that. Up to the challenge, Punishing Waterfalls is of passing the vibe check. All right, Tundra, Sarah Sanctum, tap for 6. We've got 7 and 8. They're all forests. It doesn't even matter. Animate this Tundra. I don't think I even need to do this, but boy, am I going to. Animate this fetch land. Attack with everything, including the Enchantresses and the Reflection of Kiki Jiki. We're coming in. Okay, somehow stole game 1, and now the Blood Moon, Wasteland, and Damping Sphere come in? This is big. Actually insane. I do also have the cheese here. I could Leyline plus Helm, but this is a deck that plays 4 main deck Besejus. Yeah, I don't even think I can get away with the cheese here. I need to basically do what I just did, get extremely lucky, and stick one of my important kill spells. Okay, what happens in this matchup? Swords of Plowshares is good. Argothian Enchantress is necessary, but I think that's too many. Starling Grove's interesting because it does protect Blood Moon from Beseju, which is a 1-2 punch that I'm interested in. It also tutors for Blood Moon. Yeah, the Starling Grove finally found a home. Fourth Aerlingus actually drew a bunch of cards that applied a bunch of pressure that game. Uro's pretty slow and bad here. Supreme Verdict might be terrible. I need to be on board and bashing. Stony Silence shuts down the One Ring and Expedition map. Stony Silence might be worth the squeeze here too. What would I cut for it? Destiny Spinner is my win con. Abundant Growth is my setup. And my cantrip suite. Like, these are my ponders. I'm not just boarding out Abundant Growth, I'm boarding out Ponder. Force of Will, completely necessary. Fable and Mirror Breaker is awesome to play under Blood Moon with. Maybe I just want 1 Stony. And they're not going to wasteland me. I could cut a forest because I just brought in my own wasteland. I still have 20 lands in here. Hall of Heliod can loop my Blood Moon if they destroy it. Okay, I will try it like this. Oh no. I like the Force. I like the Plow. I'm going to keep this. It is obviously risky, but if opponent leads on Reclaimer, I'm ready. Oh, look at this. Yavimaya. Thanks for the layup. This basically works out perfectly. I get to Plow this Reclaimer, and they fix my mana for me. The thing I was worried about keeping my hand for is resolved. I do need more lands. That's not one of them. Brainstorm first. It sees more cards. That is a land. Put back 2 Leyline Bindings, Savannah, Abundant Growth, and we're cooking. This is going to be a very important matchup for Abundant Growth to work correctly on Magic Online. They hardcast once upon a time, found a Glimmer Post. Not the Cloud Post that they probably wanted, but it's not a blank either. I'm going to growth my other land and hope this is a land. Oh, D-Sphere. Oh my goodness. All right, give me 1 turn here without killing me, and we will have a game. Played out Beseju. Hall of Heliod. So I hit the land drop, and I have this Damping Sphere, which, if they Beseju, ramps me, and I don't even mind that much. Force of Vigor. I'm going to Force of Will this, which costs 1, and pitch a Shark Typhoon. I'm getting good exchanges here, but they are just tick, tick, tick up here. Primeval Titan can be cast next turn. Sarah Sanctum taps for... this is funny because it currently taps for... Oh, no, there are 2 enchantments. If I have 1 enchantment, it taps for white. If I have 2 enchantment, it taps for 1 colorless. I can tap it for green, though, so I got that going for me. Endurance. All right, just a big ol' fuddy-duddy Endurance over there. I'm just going to take 3 from this. Probably cycle Shark Typhoon because I would like to move my game forward. This does tap me out of blue, out of Force Blue card, but I need another banger. Okay, I can hardcast Force now, and I can loop Shark Typhoon. Okay, no attack. I love it. I'm going to pick Shark Typhoon back up. I might even cast it. If they have another Endurance here, it's fine. Crop Rotation and Response. All right. Are we getting Bajuka Bog? Or are we setting up Eye of Ugin while I'm tapped out of Force of Will? Eye of Ugin doesn't do much if Cloud Post doesn't work. Okay, Ayabugan, what's the decision? Binding costs 3 right now, which means I can't just spike this endurance. Alright, gamers. You're always asking. This is the third game in this league that I think it might even be correct. I mean, it's certainly what I did. It might even be correct to play Shark Typhoon. Elvish Spirit Guide for prime time. That's powerful. And with the Damping Sphere around, though, might not be that bad. Elvish Spirit Guide, though, is wild. Like, Cloud Post needs more mana. They got a Cloud Post and a Caracas. Oh, the Lingus. It's way too aggressive to Lingus here. I'm going to play Leyline Binding and eat this Primeval Titan and pass the turn. They do have 9 mana for an Eldrazi because Ayabugan still functions and it taps for green. The One Ring, that can resolve, and then I will bind it in response to activation if they do that. Or we could just go to my turn. Yeah, there's nothing to recover from the graveyard here. I am going to do this. They get 0 cards. They get protection for the turn, but no cards out of the deal. Force of Negation, that's castable. No reason to attack. They have protection. Okay, Moment of Truth. We're actually super tight here. Oh no, land number 8 represents Ulamog. This is bad. I could force Ulamog, but it's still going to eat 2 things on the way through, which is probably Shark Typhoon and Damping Sphere. But they might just get crushed on the back end here, because I force this. I make a 5/5. I have 6, 12, 17, 19 power, plus the Lingus. Yeah, they might just be dead here. They went after Primeval Titan. Okay. I'm going to let the Ulamog trigger resolve. I'm going to let Primeval Titan's trigger resolve. I want them to make all of their decisions before they know that they're not going to have an Ulamog. They might just get 2 Glimmer Posts here, gain 10 life. Okay, 1 Glimmer Post, 1 Cloud Post, gained a bunch of life. Force the Ulamog. And them killing Damping Sphere unlocks my Serra Sanctum, which is good for 4 mana, which is a huge 4th Aerolingus. Okay, let's actually math here. They take 6, 11, 13 flying, which means I need to get another 13 across the ground. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. That's not nearly enough for that. Oh, right, I get a bonus shark when I do this, though. And they can definitely just Emrakul me next turn if I don't win. So I should probably just send it. Okay, Lingus X equals 7. I think I'm 1 damage short of winning right now. Yeah, they're at literally 1. And Emrakul doesn't actually kill me, but they could take infinite turns with the Caracas. What a frustrating game this was. Did I miss a damage somewhere? All right, yeah, just Emrakul raw from hand. Oh, that was something. That one is a Haunter. It may evolve into a Gengar, if I think about it long enough. I'm thinking if I want this forest back in my deck, how important is Stony Silence? Yeah, I am just of the opinion that Enchantress is probably way too slow, and I'm going to put another forest in. If I find Damping Sphere or Blood Moon, I just really want to make sure I could cast them. My opening hand is medium to poor. I can go Taiga. I am going to keep this, though. Taiga filters into Tundra off the Lorien Reveal. That turns on Leyline Binding on 2. I could Plow next turn. Cavern of Souls on Elf. All right. You got it. I can Plow that off my Tundra, which is the words I was just saying when my opponent casts something worth plowing. Yeah, Plow this. Any chance that was the whole plan? Nope. Tapped Cloud Post right away. Sure. All right. If I Brainstorm and hit a white source, I can do 2 things this turn. I think I got to take the chance here. Okay, we got there. Put back Destiny Spinner. That's a way later situation. I really like Fable next turn, actually. And I think Shark Typhoon is also a later situation. Fetch for basic planes. Yeah, I'm just going to start respecting the possibility that Blood Moon's in my deck somewhere, which I know is true. The possibility that I draw it. All right, Cavern on Elf. I've killed 2 elves now. Carpet of Flowers. That card is deeply obnoxious. I guess I only have 1 island, though. Oh, no. All right, well, you have 2 of those now. declining the activation. We might see Primeval Titan next turn. And I'm just going to play Fable and get my cards jumping around here rather than try to brainstorm and spike the land again. Fable Gaming is the name of the plan now. Crop rotation. I don't like how much mana this represents. This could get another cavern and name Giant. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana right now. I am actually going to force this. That could have been bait. We might get one ringed right now, but that might have just flipped into an uncounterable prime time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, they have prime time anyway. Great. All right. Yep, might have been bait. Might have just had me beat no matter what. This is why this matchup is just so miserable. I've done a lot of cool things. I have a Swords of Plowshares, a Leyline Binding, a Fable the Mirror Breaker, and I successfully forced a spell. And it's still just like, yeah, get fucked. Okay. I would like to use this ability. And I'd like to put Brainstorm into the graveyard. This is actually so close right now. Done. Wait, did that unlock it? Oh my god, hold on. Fetch and Triumph. Fetch and Triumph. Leyline Binding. Okay, take this Primeval Titan. I lose to Force of Vigor, but I have everything else under control. And Blood Moon, which also turns off Carpet because I have no islands. All right, it's Force of Vigor or bust over there. Tight games for tight people. If this just holds for 12 turns, we're in good shape. Stony Silence. That shuts off my treasures. That's annoying. The One Ring is one of the better draws they could have, but I think my treasures are more important right now. If they play the One Ring, I could play this thing. Carpet's triggering. No action. Nothing at all from the opponent anywhere. Play another Mountain. Attack with my Goblin. Okay, I could start reflecting and getting multiple goblins now. No, something's happening. The One Ring. That sucks. Well, I have the Stony. I just wish that they didn't draw the card at all. But, I mean, freezing that thing in play with one counter on it also hurts them. End step, I'm still going to copy Goblin Shaman. I still get 2 treasures out of this, even though I won't be able to use them, unless I draw something right now worth casting. I did not. Okay, attack. Silly little attack. And I am prepared to lock myself out of the game here if it turns off this One Ring. Okay, go. I'm now attacking for 5 a turn with the help of the One Ring. But that's a lot of draws that will not be Force of Vigor by taking that thing out. Uh-oh, pausing my upkeep. No! 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 All right, they're unlocking Blood Moon and Primeval Titan. Son of a biscuit. What if one time in my entire life, my opponent just didn't draw exactly what they need off the top? What if that could happen? Just imagine the world. Yeah, this Primeval Titan's just going to win. They just get a bunch of shit. And 3, 6, 7. Yep. I am what they call locked out at this point. Oh, I did that in my upkeep. I could have drawn this thing first. Okay, up the Beanstalk. Forest. Forest is not what I need to win the game. I'll make 2 more treasures that don't work and then concede. Yep, okay. Yeah, we made a run out of it. Somehow stole game 1, but Christ, that matchup is bad. Okay, a lot of fun Magic played here. Did not squeeze out a positive record at the end. But basically, we just cranked card draw as a win con to the max here, which is a very on ZD MTG way to build a deck. Like, we only have 3 Swords to Plowshares. There's no Ponders for selection. There's nothing like Terminus. There's nothing like Prismatic Ending. Instead, we just have twice as many draw engines as we normally have. And we did have a lot of fun some games, just draw, cast a spell, see 5 triggers go in the stack. That rules. But also, there were games where I just got overrun while I'm running out my various Enchantresses and Beanstalks that haven't had enough time to leverage what they offer to the game yet, and then you're just dead. Things that actually did carry. Sarah's Sanctum in a deck that just has a bunch of enchantments anyway. Like the Up the Beanstalk, the Leyline Binding, Fable the Mirror Breaker, not normally in these control decks, but it could be. If you build a Yorion deck around Abundant Growth, I don't know, maybe just put one Sarah's Sanctum in there. Maybe it's insane. This is an all-timer for hard casting Shark Typhoon. The Serra Sanctum really made that possible, and the handful of cards just bang, 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 keep the sharks coming, casting multiple 5s and 6 drops in a single turn cycle. Hall of Fame for doing that. I think the sideboard needs a lot of work. I would like some Dress Downs or Doorkeeper Thralls, something that can help blunt goblins a bit. A moat. You can put a moat in here. Starling Grove should not be in the main deck. All in all, though, just minor adjustments, and I could see this being a 3-2 league. There's probably even some responsible balance where it's like 3 Beanstalk, 3 Enchantresses, and then you get 2 extra slots open, and you still have more draw engines than the average Bean deck. Lots to think about here. This was a lot of fun. Pedro, thank you for sharing it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.